Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. Today we should be getting the reveal of the next Mythic Hero to enter the game. Have the trailer pulled up right now, not looking at my screen right now because I want to maintain the surprise. I think common guesses right now are Mila, is something that I've seen circulated a lot. There's also Rhea is a potential option, I suppose. But yeah, probably one of those dragons. Maybe. I guess maybe it could be Nemesis too? I don't know. But let's go ahead and get this show on the road. I'll wait for the actual video title to leave. Alright, looking back up. A new Mythic Hero joins the battle. Oh! Oh, it is Mila. Goddess of Love. I was calling her Mila. Oh, wow, that's really beautiful. The old school art. Nice. Okay. Nurturing Breath. Bracing Stance, Sabotage Attack, Mila's Turn Wheel. Oh boy. Oh, that dragon sprite is nice. Pretty cool. That's a beam if I've ever seen one. Alright, let's see. We'll see at least some of her skills in action here. Against Fallen Berkut makes very appropriate. Alright. So she's... I don't know, she's going to be an enemy phase tanker? I don't know. Going to have Ephraim, as well as Hector, Lucina, Alm, Eliwood, Julia. So far, all legendaries and mythics. Leaf. Ossian, okay. Here we go. Larce, Leaf, Annette. Okay, alright. So 8% Focus Banner, of course. We're going to get Mila. So we are getting Mila, Goddess of Love, the opposite of Duma. Starting her debut banner starting on May 29th all the way until June 5th, so about 1 full week, standard fare. So it seems she's going to be a light mythic and a colorless unit. So a lot of people hit it on the nose. We were going to get Mila today, which is very exciting. Let's go ahead and rewind, take another look at her art, another look at her skills, and see what she has to offer. See if this banner is worth pulling for and evaluating the colors themselves. I'm actually a little bit scared to see what Mila's turn wheel is actually going to be. Yeah, the art, the art is really, has a lot of character. Let's pause here. Her art definitely has this very, very charming, old school, almost parchment-like feel to it. It feels classic. And I was presumably that's what they were going for, and I think they really achieved it. She is going to be a colorless dragon, so like Duma, but unlike Duma, she is going to be an infantry unit. Again, she's going to be a light hero. I like the feathering and the details on her wings. I like how her long, flowing hair kind of segues into and kind of blends into her wings with the coloring. I like that you can see the peak of her dragon tail behind her as well. And she looks very serene here, which I think is what they were going for. So let's keep going. Take a look at what skills she's got. I am very, very curious to see. Let's pause here. So Nurturing Breath is going to be her own unique weapon. It is a 16 might weapon, grants defense +3. If foe's range is equal to 2, calculates damage using the lower, so it has adaptive damage. Unusual that we see that early in the description. Grants attack speed, defense res +2 to allies within 7 rows and 7 columns centered on unit during combat. Weird. Okay, defense +3. Sort of indicates that she might be an enemy phase-based unit. Has adaptive damage, which dragon weapons tend to have. So it gives +2 to all stats for all allies within 7 rows and 7 columns centered on unit during combat. So she essentially gives a +2 stat bonus to all stats for basically all of her allies. 7 rows and 7 columns, that is a huge area of effect. So that's basically, 3 rows down, 3 columns to the side on each side of her. That's the majority of the map. So, and it's an in-combat buff to those allies. So I'm going to reserve judgment until we read the rest of her kit, but I will just say the +2 to all stats for essentially all allies, because the area of effect is so enormous. That's an in-combat buff. It's okay. It's pretty good. It's a little, I guess, underwhelming. It's not terribly impressive, I guess, of a buff. Naturally, that stacks with other in-combat buffs and in-combat debuffs. So, she has that going for her, and it's not limited. It's applicable to basically any unit on your team. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm a little lukewarm on it, I have to say. Maybe if I give it some more thought and see how it fits in with the rest of her kit, I might change my tune. Rally Defense Res Plus grants Defense Res plus 6 to target ally for 1 turn. Okay, Bracing Stance 3 for the A slot, again reinforcing her as an enemy phase type unit. If foe initiates combat, grants Defense Res plus 6 during combat and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack. Only highest value applied, does not stack. Yeah, so definitely a solid addition for a defensive unit, giving +6 to both defensive stats and also having a guard effect. Those are strong things for a unit that's trying to enemy phase. So a good choice there. Sabotage Attack 3 for the B slot. At start of turn, if any foe's res is less than or equal to unit's res, -3, and that foe is adjacent to another foe, inflicts attack -7 on that foe through its next action. So I think Sabotage Attack 3 is a solid choice for her. Obviously, her goal is going to be to play defensively, to buff her allies as well as debuff the enemy. She wants to be super tanky, so sabotaging the enemy's attack is really going to lend itself to her being able to basically get those dings when the enemy attacks into her, and so that does suit her. The sabotage skills, I think, have some limited utility in general. Again, B-Slot is just so competitive, especially since she's an infantry. She has access to a whole lot of toys in the B-Slot. So I don't know necessarily if Sabotage Attack 3 is going to be her preferred skill there, but it does certainly fit the motif that she has of being a defensive unit. So Mila's Turn Wheel is her C-Slot skill. It is unique to her. It is not inheritable. At start of turn, inflicts isolation, okay, on foes in cardinal directions with defense less than unit's defense through their next actions. Really? Okay. It deployed in Ether Raid's offense during light season. That's very specific. Grants turn limit +1. Really? If the turn limit is 7, it will increase it to 8. Whoa, that is very, very interesting. So let's break this down. Isolation, target cannot use or be the target of assist skills through its next action. We saw this with Bridal Fjorm, who is conveniently actually available on the rerun banner that is live right now. Bridal Fjorm has isolation built into her skills, and she's, at least thus far, been the only unit that can inflict isolation, unfortunately. Mila is now the second unit that can inflict isolation, and it's a powerful skill. For Mila specifically, it uses her defensive stats in order to inflict the isolation, and it's cardinal direction, so it's a ploy type check. So isolation is by no means a be-all, end-all, but it certainly can severely cripple certain Ether Raid defense teams and layouts that rely very heavily on dancers and refreshers, which a lot of them do out there. And if they do, then Mila's Turn Wheel or Bridal Fjorm is able to inflict isolation on them so that a unit can't be danced or can't dance. And that can be a big deal for certain compositions that are out there. Isolation also can't be healed, or there's no way to heal it currently, because any healing spell, like Restore Plus, would be an assist, and since it cancels out the ability to use an assist, you can't get rid of the isolation. So it's a pretty powerful, pretty potent ability, and now we have the second unit in the game that has it. And then this Ether Raid's offensive turn limit +1 is just kind of fascinating to me. I think because it wasn't something that I ever thought they would do. It's pretty unique. And then, of course, if you have 2 Milas, then you have, +2 to your turn limit. I would certainly say that the real prize of Mila's Turn Wheel is to be able to inflict that isolation. The frosting and the icing on top is going to be the increased turn limit on very, very specific instances. Ether Raid offense, light season only. She is a light hero, so she would be the one that you would, that would be the time to bring her, basically, would be during the light season. But then you'll be awarded, an extra turn limit. I think, more interestingly, it implies that we could potentially see additional skills down the line that changes the turn limit. So Mila is sort of an odd blend of old and new to me. There's a lot of things that she does that are brand new to the game that really hasn't been done before in the same capacity that it's done. Specifically, the Ether Raid, turn limit +1, that's something we've never seen before. The huge area of effect buff, that's an in-combat buff to allies, not exactly something that we've seen before either. So those are like new things. And despite having those two new things, I wouldn't say that she's a game changer, and I wouldn't say that there's not much that she does outside of her archetype. And her archetype is really going to be an enemy phase, really super tanky unit that can potentially in a stall team, because it seems like she's really destined to be kind of planted back in such a capacity so that she buffs her allies, gives them all boosts to their stats, decreases the enemy's ability to attack. I think she also, as being a light hero, she's defensive, and she's going to increase the defensive stats of her allies as well. So it's really geared towards having sort of a very powerful, potent enemy phase team that has high defenses and be able to kind of take advantage and facilitate getting those dings basically on enemy phase. Mila's turn wheel has very interesting implications because of that turn limit +1 and the isolation. Even though it's something that we've seen before, it's not like it's common. Mila's turn wheel could be enough to make her an extremely powerful asset on your team, depending on your team composition, just for the isolation and just for the +1 turn limit. That being said, she is absolutely a support unit. She is destined to be a support unit, enemy phasing, being tanky, providing support buffs, providing cardinal direction ploys so that the rest of her team can dispatch and take down the enemy forces. Going in line with Nurturing Breath, Goddess of Love, makes a lot of sense on theme, right? For her to be a very powerful support asset on your team. If you're struggling in Aether Raid offense where, again, certain team compositions that sort of revolve around dancers, Mila's turn wheel itself could be a turning point for you, and that might just be enough incentive to go ahead and pull for Mila and get her on your team so you can fully utilize that Mila's turn wheel. And that wouldn't be a bad decision. At the same time, otherwise her archetype isn't extravagantly different, again, from what we've seen, but isolation might be enough for people to actually pull for her specifically. But again, aside from those specific instances with Aether Raids and against, countering those specific teams, Mila's not really going to bring a ton to the table. She's not going to be a game changer, so to speak, I think, for your barracks in general. And do bear in mind she's going to be a support unit, albeit a very, very tanky support unit, but a support unit that's going to probably rely on the rest of her team to really kind of carry the day and win the battle. I will say that Mila is going to be a colorless unit, and being a colorless, really, really tanky unit means that she can act as an omni-tank, more or less. Of course, she is a dragon, so we do have to be wary about dragon-effective weapons out there. But otherwise, she can probably fulfill that role of being an omni-tank pretty well. And then, again, providing that support, that necessary support to the rest of her team. Alright. I do like the dragon sprite as well. It obviously very reminiscent of Duma. And of course she has her arms outstretched. She's ready to swoop in for the kill. Her fingers and hands kind of look a little disfigured or disjointed. I think that's probably a stylistic choice. She might be in the process of transforming, and that's certainly part of it. Yeah, again, the art itself has sort of this scripture-like quality to it, parchment-like quality almost, and a very classic look, and she looks good. It is definitely very unique. So let's keep going. Giant beam. Very, very nice. Alright, so we can take a look here. This is going to be Aether Raids. Just kind of reinforcing. So you can see that the guard effect is in play. Berkut does not get his charge that he wants. Alright, so Mila is going to be a colorless unit, and then there is going to be Ephraim, some Hector, Lucina as well, Alm, Eliwood, okay, Julia, Leaf, there's going to be both Leafs on this banner, Ossian, Larse, and of course, Annie. So let's pause here and take a look. Mila, being the marquee character, is a colorless unit, and she debuts alongside Alm and Leaf, two of the strongest archers in the game, very, very powerful legendary heroes as well, both of them, and very unique offensive utility ranged units. So colorless is actually very, very strong. So let's take a look at Red next. So Red has Leaf, the other Leaf, Eliwood, and Larse. So, Larse obviously is a very strong hero. She's not a limited hero, so she is in the regular pool, which means you can pull her at any time. She's going to appear on other banners, so again, that kind of ticks away a little bit at the rating for Red, I would say. Eliwood is also an offensively strong, as well as great support unit. And then you've got Leaf, who is probably the prize of Red, at least for this go-around, I would say, in terms of overall potency, or overall universal potency. So I would certainly place Red under colorless personally. Let's take a look at Green. So we have Legendary Hector, we have Ossian, and we have Annette. So don't get me wrong, Annette, Miss Creepity Creep, is very, very strong and has some unique things tied into her weapon for sure. But at the same time, the fact that there's 2 just regular pool units in green, and then the legendary hero on green is so aged at this point, green is really not looking too favorable. I would probably put that, at least currently, below the other colors. Let's take a look at blue. So we have legendary Ephraim, we have Julia, and we have Lucina. Lucina is still strong today. She's one of the older legendary heroes, but at the same time, she has those movement shenanigans that she's able to employ, just like her father, Crom. Legendary Julia is also very powerful and relatively new. And we have legendary Ephraim, who despite his age is actually still a relatively potent Ether Gale Forcer. So honestly, I would actually say blue is relatively strong. So the way that I would rate this, I think colorless is on top. Both Alm and Leaf are excellent. And Mila is the new unit that has isolation, which is pretty unique. So that's going to be at the tip top as far as I think the colors to pull on. Next, I think I would put blue, because I think it offers the most utility and diversity of the colors. And they are all legendary heroes as well, which has that inherent value. And then below that, I would probably put red, which offers Leaf, Eliwood, and Larce. And then below that, I would put green, which offers Hector, Ossian, and Annette. So those are just my thoughts as far as the colors to pull on. For me personally, I don't really know if I'm going to be going in too hard on this banner really at all. I think I would probably be willing to pull on a little bit of colorless for Mila, but I already have both Leaf and Alm. Granted, my Alm has terrible IVs, so I wouldn't mind getting another copy. I might actually be willing to pull on blue, because I still to this day have not pulled legendary Lucina. I would like legendary Julia as well. And then Ephraim I already have, but I wouldn't mind getting another one. But like I said, I'm probably not going to be diving in. I'm probably just going to be doing the full first circle and then moving on from there. If I do go in a little bit further, it would probably be for colorless and blue. So let me know in the comments below if you are excited for Mila, Goddess of Love, what your thoughts are on the character, her art, her skills, and everything else. If you're going to be pulling on this banner, which colors you're going to be aiming for and which heroes you're going to be aiming for. Certainly wish you the best of luck in your summoning in just a few short days. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really, really do appreciate it. I hope you're all staying safe, healthy, and secure out there. Certainly wishing the best for you, your family, and your friends. And until next time, let's protect those skies.